Every night, something extraordinary happens. Not out there, but within you. A hidden doorway appears. Not physical, not visible to the naked eye, but unmistakably real. You know where to look. It opens when the world goes quiet, when your distractions dissolve, when your conscious mind finally stops trying to control everything, and yet you've missed it every night of your life because you were never told it existed. You were told night was just for rest, just for dreaming, just for resetting. But what if night is not the end of your day, but the beginning of your awakening? It's the lie we all bought. We live in a culture that glorifies daylight. Work hard, stay busy, stay productive. If it's not visible, it's not valuable. So we push our attention outward all day long. And when night falls, we crash, we scroll, we binge, we collapse, and we call that rest. But there's a reason you still wake up tired. There's a reason your soul still feels unsettled. It's because something essential, something ancient has been left behind in the dark. And it's not because you're broken. It's because you've been blind too. What the night was always trying to show you. The cosmic timing of night. There's a rhythm built into the universe. A sacred pulse that governs every planet, every species, every cell. It's not random. It's not mechanical. It's intelligent, intentional, alive, and part of that rhythm is what opens at night. When the sun disappears beyond the horizon, a new frequency begins to rise, one that's softer, deeper, more magnetic. And this frequency isn't just in the sky, it's in you. Your biology shifts, your brain waves slow, your energy body becomes more porous, more open, more aligned with invisible dimensions. This is not poetic. This is physics. This is neuroscience. And this is ancient knowing, indigenous. Traditions have always known that the hours between dusk and dawn hold a gateway, not just into dream, but into other realms of consciousness. They knew the body sleeps, but the soul awakens. The portal Nitrous One told you about. But here's where it gets wild. There's an actual portal that opens every night, not a doorway you walk through, but a vibration you align with. And this vibration is subtle. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't demand, it invites. And that's why you've missed it. It's not because it's not there, but because your attention has been trained to ignore the very thing that could change everything. The portal doesn't open in your phone. It doesn't open in your tasks. It opens in your stillness, right when you're about to drift off, right when the mind begins to dissolve. A signal appears. It's not visual, but it has color. It's not audible, but it has tone. It's not physical, but it is realer than real. And if you knew how to feel, it too could step into it. Every single night. How you miss it every night. Here's what happens instead. You take your thoughts from the day, all the noise, all the fear, all the resistance, and carry them straight into sleep. You close your eyes, but your mind never quiets. You enter the night with tension in your chest, your jaw, your spine, and that tension becomes a wall between you, the most powerful energetic reset you could ever experience. The portal still opens, but you don't pass through it. Instead, you loop inside mental residue. You relive the same thought patterns. You download the same energetic programs. You recycle the same emotions. You're not resting, you're reinforcing. You're not dreaming, you're downloading limitation on autopilot. And you wonder why nothing ever truly changes. The night portal is a frequency match. You can't force this portal open. You can't hack it with tricks or shortcuts, because the portal isn't something out there. It's a mirror of your own frequency. The more present you are, the more it reveals, the more relaxed your nervous system. The clearer the signal becomes, and when you finally align with it, when your inner state matches the vibration of the night portal, you step into a kind of clarity that rewrites your entire inner world. You start receiving not ideas, not words, downloads, full body, full spectrum understandings, that bypass logic. You wake up with direction, with calm, with a magnetic sense of I don't know why, but I know exactly what to do. That is the power of the night portal. It doesn't tell you what to be. It reminds you of what you want, already are. Why this matters now. You are being called into a new way of existing, not just doing more, not just meditating harder, but aligning with what has always been waiting for you in the dark. The night was never your enemy. It was never something to escape. It was always the secret staircase back to your source. You don't need a guru. You don't need perfect discipline. You need presence. You need stillness. And you need the courage to face the silence inside you without running away. Because in that silence says the doorway. And the moment you start showing up for it, night after night, you stop missing your life. You stop searching for signs. Become the signal itself. You become the one who sees in the dark. You become the one who remembers. Closing transition to next section. So tonight, when the sky turns black, don't just fall asleep. Sit with yourself, even if only for a few minutes. Not to fix, not to manifest, but to feel what's waiting for you just beneath the noise. Because if you can learn to enter the night, too can begin to awaken in ways this world was never ready to teach you. The portal will open. Will you step through it? Every night, something extraordinary happens. But most people sleep right through it. Not just physically, but spiritually. You think sleep is simply rest, a shutdown, a pause. But that's not what's really going on. When your conscious mind slips away, your deeper mind begins to rise. And with it, a portal opens, one not bound by time or physical limits. This portal is not visible to the naked eye. It doesn't open with a key. It opens through frequency. The frequency of your mind, the state of your inner vibration as you drift into the hypnagogic state, that strange, hazy zone between waking and sleeping. You begin to leave the rigid laws of the 3D world behind. Thoughts become form. Feelings become frequencies. And in that delicate moment, a gateway opens. This is the night portal. You've passed through it 1,000 times, but without awareness, it slips by like a forgotten dream. And with it, you miss your most powerful chance to create. Because here's the truth. Your reality is most programmable when your conscious mind is offline. During deep sleep, the brain dips into delta frequencies, a state of total receptivity. You're not thinking, you're receiving. What are you receiving? Whatever your subconscious has been looping. Whatever belief has been most deeply wired. And this is the catch. If your subconscious is full of fear, limitation, scarcity, then the portal becomes a recycling bin. It loops your past into your future. You go to sleep hoping for change, but you wake up to more of the same. So let's go deeper. What exactly opens during sleep? It's a portal to your subconscious command center, the quantum field where energy is reconfigured, the dimension where your future timeline is chosen, not consciously, but energetically. Most people don't realize this. They spend the last moments before sleep in stress, distraction, or autopilot, but the 5 minutes before you fall asleep, that's when the code is written. If you go to sleep in fear, you enter the portal with fear. If you go to sleep with gratitude, you enter the field, carrying gratitude, and what you carry echoes into what you create. Because while you sleep, you don't stop manifesting. You actually manifest more. Why? Because your resistance is gone. The ego is silenced. Your brain isn't trying to figure it. It's out. It's just allowing. And the field responds. But only to one thing. Your energetic signature, not your desires, not your words, but your vibration. That's why the night portal is so powerful. You don't have to try. You just have to tune. So let's make it practical. How do you activate the night portal consciously? Step 1. Choose your signal. What do you want to carry into the field tonight? A vision, a feeling, a declaration. Choose one and hold it. Step 2. Drop into feeling. Don't just think the thought. Feel it. Let it echo through your body. Step 3. Drift in presence as you begin to fall asleep. Stay present with the energy. This is not about control. It's about calibration. And that's when it happens. The portal opens. You enter the field, and your signature is transmitted. This is why the ancients called sleep a little death. Because part of your conscious identity dissolves, so something deeper can rise. And what rises? Your core frequency, not the mask, not the performance, but the truth of your field. If you carry guilt, shows. If you carry peace, it shows. If you carry vision, it shows the universe. Isn't judging you, it's mirroring you, especially when you're asleep. And that mirror reflects the signal you forget you're sending. Why does this matter? Because most people never consciously use sleep as a tool. They use it as an escape. But sleep is not escape. It's transmission. It's your chance to shift timelines without effort. Think of it this way. Your waking hours are for input. Your sleeping hours are for upload. Whatever you imprint before sleep gets uploaded to the quantum field. That's why your late night thoughts matter. That's why your emotional state before sleep matters. They become the seed, and the night portal is the soil. Plant wisely. Now, here's the real secret. Every night, you're already entering the portal, but awareness turns it from passive to powerful. You don't have to force change. You just have to feel the new frequency. Let it carry you into sleep. Because the moment you do, you enter the portal, not as a victim of the past, but as an architect of the future. And in that space-time bends, reality rewrites, and your life begins to shift. Not by chance, but by conscious design. So tonight, don't chase thoughts. Don't replay worries. Don't scroll away your frequency. Instead, feel the timeline you want to walk. Breathe it, be it, sleep in it. Let your final vibration be the one you wish to live. Because the night portal doesn't listen to what you say. It mirrors what you are, while your body lies in stillness. Your energy field never does. Even when your eyes are closed and your breath slows, something remembers, not your conscious mind, but the invisible architecture of your being. Energy doesn't sleep. It stores, it collects, it records. Every emotion you felt today, every thought you repeated, every intention you silently projected, it all leaves a mark, not just on your nervous system, or in the quantum structure of your energetic field. This is why you can wake up heavy, like a storm passed through you overnight, or could wake up clear, like you were reborn in silence. The energy you carry before sleep determines what you plug into during sleep. But here's what you weren't taught. You're not just carrying memories from this life. You're carrying imprints from many versions of you across multiple timelines, and some of those imprints are still unresolved. They keep echoing in your dreams. They show up in familiar feelings you can't explain. They haunt your frequency like ghosts of identities you never fully released. Energy is not bound by time. What you felt 5 years ago, 5 lifetimes ago, or 5 dimensions ago, if it's still in resonance, it's still in play. And guess when those energies surface most clearly? At night, when the mind goes offline, when the ego is quiet, when the veil's thin, when the conscious guard dog finally lies down. The gate opens. That's when your energetic memory speaks. You might call it dreaming, but it's deeper than that. Dreams aren't just fantasy. They're feedback. They're the language of the subconscious, okay? And the energetic body communicating with you. They're not random. They're reports. Nighttime is your energy's self-audit. Every unresolved emotion, every suppressed signal, every forgotten version of you, they all return to say, "You haven't cleared me yet." This is why so many people feel exhausted, even after 8 hours of sleep, because instead of resting, their energy is working overtime, cleaning, revisiting, repeating, cycling patterns. So if you don't intentionally clear that energetic backlog, builds up and starts leaking into your waking life. You start repeating relationships. You sabotage your own breakthroughs. You keep attracting patterns. You thought you healed. Why? Because you're carrying unresolved quantum echoes into every tomorrow. But here's the secret. The mystics knew nighttime is not passive. It's portal time. Not just a portal for escape, a portal for rewiring while you sleep. Your energy body is the most accessible. The subconscious is the most open. The quantum field is most malleable. That's why what you carry into sleep writes. Your code.it sets your frequency for the next 24 hours. It determines how your field calibrates to incoming timelines. So if you go to sleep angry, bitter, hopeless, that becomes your template. If you go to sleep open, grateful, surrendered, that becomes your broadcast. The field remembers your last signal, not your intentions, but your frequency. This is why you can do all the right things during the day. Read the books, say the affirmations, visualize your goals, but if your energy collapses at night, you reset back to default. Your reality doesn't respond to what you consciously say. It responds to what your field holds onto silently. Now, here's the shift. Not just a human trying to heal. You're a multi-dimensional node, processing lifetimes of data. So when you dream of falling or meeting someone you've never seen, repeating an event from the past, you're not broken. You're receiving intel. You're being shown where energy is, still stuck, and you're being offered the chance to release it. You can reclaim that energy, but only if you become aware of what it's doing. Start asking, what did I feel last night? Who showed up in my dreams? What emotion kept surfacing? That's your energy giving you access to a deeper control panel. Energy doesn't lie. It remembers your truest state beneath the masks. And at night, it presents it to you without filters. What you do with it is your choice. You can ignore it, distract from it, suppress it, or you can meet it, witness it, transform it. Let's go deeper. Your body is a frequency vehicle. Your breath is your voltage. Your emotions are electric signals, and your thoughts are instructions to the quantum grid. So when you sleep, the body shuts down, but the field goes online. The question is, what instructions are being left in the field? That's what determines your future experiences. Because energy is an ecosystem. It doesn't forget. It simply waits for you to recognize the pattern and choose differently. Now, imagine this. You go to sleep, not just tired, but tuned. You enter the night, not unconscious, but intentional. You speak to your field before sleeping. Tonight, I release every outdated energy signature. I welcome only timelines aligned with love, clarity, and expansion. That alone is a broadcast. That alone starts rewiring the night field. Remember this, your energy is a storyteller. Every night, it tells the universe what kind of day you're creating next. If your story is grief, it will build your next chapter in sorrow. If your story is lack, it will assemble futures of scarcity. But if your story is surrender, alignment, and truth, the field listens. It always does, because energy doesn't sleep. It records, it replays, it recreates, and you're the one who writes the script it follows, not with your words, but with your emotional state when you close your eyes. Let that land, because the next time you lay down at night, know this, you're not just sleeping, you're shaping your quantum future in the dark. You've been told your dreams are random, that they're just fragments, meaningless leftovers of a tired brain. But what if that's the biggest lie of all? Every night, when your body falls asleep, your consciousness doesn't shut off. It logs in, not to this physical world, but to a deeper system. It's filled of pure data, pure signal, in what you call dreams. They're not hallucinations. They're downloads, instructions, messages, reminders, the part of you that remembers more than this lifetime. When you're dreaming, your conscious mind, the part that filters, edits, and doubts, goes quiet. And in that stillness, something higher takes the stage. Your subconscious receives direct input from the quantum field. It receives blueprints for timelines, You haven't lived yet. It receives visions of possible futures, of alternative versions of you, of truths that your waking mind is not yet ready to accept. You don't always understand your dreams because they weren't created for your logical brain. They were encoded for your energetic self, the part of you that speaks in symbols, emotion, and vibration. This is why some dreams feel more real than reality, because in a way they are. They exist on a layer of consciousness where time doesn't flow linearly, where your future self can reach back and give you guidance, where your past lives can echo forward with lessons you still need to learn. Every night, you lie down to rest, but the universe doesn't rest. Your soul doesn't rest. Instead, it travels, it explores, it interfaces with the field, and when it returns, it brings back data. That data can show up as a strange, dreamer, surreal imager, sudden insight the next morning you can't explain. That's a download. That's your system integrating something you received while you were asleep. Think back to a dream that stayed with you, one that didn't feel random, one that had a strange intensity. You felt it in your body. You remembered it days later. Maybe it even changed how you made a decision. That wasn't just a dream. That was an incoming transmission. But here's the catch. Most people never process the download because they never prepared the receiver. You see, your energy is chaotic, filled with noise, distractions, and fear the signal becomes scrambled, and the download is lost in the fog. That's why how you sleep matters. Not just how long, but how aligned you are before drifting off. Before you sleep tonight, ask yourself, what signal am I tuning into? Are you falling asleep with your mind spinning in stress and regret? Or are you entering rest with intention? Because your final thoughts before sleep set the frequency for your journey. They determine which level of the field you access, what downloads you're open to receive. You wouldn't expect your phone to download a massive update without battery or Wi-Fi. So why do you expect your soul to receive clarity while your energy is strained and scattered? Dreams are your nightly meetings with your higher self. They are symbolic data packets, each one crafted by the quantum field, not for entertainment, but for evolution. They carry truth from beyond the veil. And if you pay attention, you'll start to see the pattern. Certain symbols keep returning. Certain places, certain faces. They are part of your personal, unique, energetic coding. Your dreams isn't about interpreting them like a dictionary. It's about feeling what energy they hold. It's about noticing what shifts in you after them. Sometimes a dream will shake you. Other times it will comfort you. And sometimes it will feel like a warning. Whatever it is, it's a message. And once you learn how to receive it, your dreams stop being a mystery. They become a nightly roadmap. Here's the truth few are ready to hear. You are not manifesting your reality when you're awake only. You're manifesting while you sleep. It's two, because dreams aren't passive. They are the pre-manifestation zone. You see in dreams what's forming in the quantum field before it takes shape in your waking world. So when you start taking your dreams seriously, you start living on a different timeline. One of awareness, one of conscious participation in your evolution. This is why ancient traditions treated dreams as sacred. They knew the dream world was a portal to spirit guides, future timelines, healing, and wisdom. Tonight, when you sleep, the portal will open again. The field will whisper, and you'll be invited to enter. But what you bring with you determines what you'll receive. So quiet your mind, clear your energy, set the intention. I am open to receive what my soul needs to know. Then rest, let go. And when the dream comes, don't dismiss it. Ask : what if this is the message I was waiting for? 'Cause it might be the download that changes everything. You're being prepared in the quantum shadows. You might think you're simply resting when you sleep, but behind the veil of your unconscious mind, You are being prepared, not in the way society conditions you to think, not for your job, your responsibilities, or the next day's duties. No, something far deeper is happening. You are being prepared in the quantum shadows, because what you call darkness is not absence, it's potential. It's the womb of possibility, a space where form has not yet taken shape, where information hasn't collapsed into matter, and yet this is where your next version is already being written. Every night, while your logical mind shuts off, the quantum field tunes in. Your soul connects to something ancient, something infinitely intelligent, and in this space, you are not passive. You are processing, receiving, reorganizing, even training. You are being taught in frequencies, not with words, not with books, not with lectures, but with symbolic images, emotional flashes, and subtle energies taught encode a different kind of knowledge. Quantum knowledge. Knowledge your conscious mind can't always understand, but your energy knows what to do with. You see, the shadows aren't empty. They're filled with codes. Codes that only activate when your waking defenses are asleep, because in daylight, you're too distracted, too linear, too busy playing by the rules of time. But in the shadows, time bends, self-dissolves, and your highest potential slips in unnoticed. This is why certain nights feel heavy. You're not just tired. You're in deep energetic calibration. Your body may be lying still, but your soul is in motion, engaged in quantum structuring. That weird dream you forgot the moment you woke up. It might have been a memory of a future self. It might have been a download of what you must become more, a timeline you must let go of. It might be been your guides whisper through symbols, a shadow language designed to bypass logic and go straight into your subconscious blueprint, because that's where change begins. It's not in action, but in energetic coding. You're not just being entertained in your dreams, you're being shaped, and every night you resist sleep. Every time you numb yourself into unconscious sense of sinking into intentional rest, you delay the quantum updates that could shift your entire waking reality. In the shadows, something else watches, not to judge you, but to assist your evolution. This force called its source, spirit, or your higher self. It only comes close when the ego sleeps, because the ego speaks too loud. It fills your day with noise, but in the shadows, it's quiet enough to receive, to remember. The quantum shadows are not random. They're deliberate arenas of transformation. This is why some people wake up and feel different. They say, I don't know why, but something shifted. What they don't realize that during the night, they went through an energetic initiation, and most of them slept through it. But if you pay attention, you approach sleep as a sacred ritual instead of just recovery, you'll notice something. You'll feel more attuned, more aligned, more prepared for what you were meant to become, because you are being prepared, not randomly, but precisely. Prepared for people you haven't met yet, for challenges you can't see yet, for decisions that will alter your path forever. And here's the strange parts sometimes. The shadows prepare you for a future timeline thought you haven't even stepped into yet. And that preparation will feel like confusion. You'll feel out of place, unmotivated, like nothing makes sense anymore. But that's not failure. That's your current identity deconstructing, so your higher frequency self can emerge. So if you're in that space right now where nothing feels clear, where it seems like life is dismantling, you know this. You're not breaking down. You're being rewired into silence, in the shadows, beyond thought. Because that's how quantum evolution works. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait until you're ready. It moves beneath the surface where real change lives. You're being prepared in layers. Layer 1, energetic detox. You're letting go of emotional densities that no longer belong to the future version of you. Layer 2, timeline refinement. Outdated paths are being dissolved in the background. Layer 3, identity recalibration. Your sense of self is being loosened to make room for the next form of you and layer. 4. Purpose ignition. A dormant purpose inside you is quietly waking up. Even if you can't name it yet, it's not your job to control this process. It's your job to trust it, to surrender to the unknownness. It reshapes the known. So tonight, before you sleep, don't just pass out. Prepare to be prepared. Create a ritual. Still your thoughts. Ask a question. Set an intention. Invite your quantum self to meet you in the shadows. And then let go. Because you don't become your highest self through force. You become it by aligning with the force that are already shaping you when you're not looking. And those forces, move in the dark, in the quiet, in the invisible. Quantum shadows where you're always being prepared for what you were born to live. Most people are sleepwalking between timelines. You think you're just dreaming? You think your nightly visions are random, chaotic, meaningless. But what if I told you you're actually walking through timelines? You're not just resting at night, you're traveling. And most people are sleepwalking through the most important shift of their life. Every night, a portal opens, not metaphorically, literally. A portal between dimensions of your own potential. But here's the catch. If you remain unconscious, you don't remember, you drift. You float between futures that never materialize. Wake up wondering why nothing ever changes. Because you were shifting, but not choosing. You see, your consciousness doesn't power off when you sleep. It expands. It untethers from your physical reality and begins syncing with other versions of you on other timelines, living different outcomes. This is why your dreams often feel familiar but strange. You're visiting echoes of yourself, but without awareness, you bring nothing back. Let's make something clear. You are always in motion. Your frequency is never still, and the quantum field doesn't stop responding just because your eyes are closed. In fact, listens even more, because when you sleep, the noise of the physical world fades, your resistance drops, and suddenly, your true signal can be received. Not the signal of your ego, not the survival thoughts, but your purest, energetic alignment. And that signal determines which timeline you drift toward. Now, imagine this: what happens when you're unconsciously tuned to fear, stress, doubt? You don't consciously feel it because you're asleep, but your field remembers, and it pulls you to timelines where that frequency is mirrored. This is the silent tragedy of unconscious sleep. You're walking into the next version of your life blindfolded. But what if, starting tonight, you began preparing your energy before sleep? What if, instead of collapsing into your bed with exhaustion, you intentionally aligned your field? What if you whispered to the quantum, "Show me the timeline where my power is unlocked. Show me the version of me that remembers." That command is not a wish, it's a directive. Because you're not a victim of your sleep, you're a pilot. And it's time you remembered that. Here's the deeper truth. Most people don't fail because they're lazy or unmotivated. They fail because their nights are out of alignment with their days. They try to manifest with affirmations in the morning, but sabotage it with chaos in the unconscious hours of night. Because at night, your subconscious takes the wheel, and if it's filled with unprocessed fear, stories, limitation, it will anchor you to the wrong timeline. The scary part, you won't even realize it. You'll just wake up every day feeling slightly off, like you're behind on a life you haven't even lived yet. Let's go deeper. Your nightly dream space is not just imagination, it's initiation. When you start remembering your dreams, when you begin seeing patterns, symbols, messages, this means your highest self is communicating, training you, preparing you for decisions in the waking world. This is the realm of quantum guidance, but most people dismiss it. They say it was just a weird dream. They don't realize that weird dream was a blueprint, a future possibility knocking, and your response was silence. Here's how to break the pattern. Before sleep, pause. Not with your phone, not with distractions, but with presence. Close your eyes and speak to the field. I am ready to align with my highest timeline. I am available to remember. I choose clarity. Then breathe, slow, touches, deep into your belly. Let your body sink and your awareness rise. This moment activates a signal in this quantum dot. It marks your sleep with intention, and that single act can shift everything because now you're no longer a sleepwalker. You're a traveler with purpose. There's a hidden war happening every night. Not a war with weapons, but with timelines. The version of you that gives up and the version that rises both exist. Both are equally real, and every night you inch closer to one or the other. The question is, are you choosing? Or are you just drifting? You must understand this. Consciousness doesn't sleep. Only the body does. So, what are you doing while your body rests? You surrendering your power to chaos? Are you programming your destiny? Because if you don't guide, your energy will be guided for you by fear, by noise, by unconscious memory. That's how people get trapped. Not because they're cursed, but because they're unaware of the power they give away in the dark. The most successful, aligned, powerful beings in history. They all knew something most people forget. Your night determines your next day. What you calibrate before sleep becomes. It's the foundation of what you attract after you wake. Not because of magic, but because of alignment. You're walking through timelines right now, and your destination is being set by your unconscious rituals. So here's your reminder. You are not just sleeping. You are traveling, tuning, training. And the version of you waiting at the end of that tunnel is watching, waiting, not for perfection, but for permission. Permission to align. Permission to wake up and stop sleepwalking through the most important shift of your existence. Opening line, voice soft, yet mysterious. You think you're just sleeping. But while your body rests, reality is being rewritten beneath the surface, not by the world outside of you, but by the field within you. Every night, you surrender your conscious mind. And in doing so, you hand the pen over to your subconscious, the quantum scriptwriter of your reality. But the question is, what is it writing? Its voice deepens, pause between sentences. See, most people believe reality is shaped when they're awake, that you create when you're conscious, when you're thinking, acting, manifesting, but in truth, the heaviest edits to your life, the deepest codes of your experience are made in silencing, sleep in the unseen realm, where your subconscious merges with the quantum field. And if you're not aware of what's being rewritten, we'll wake up inside a story that was never yours to begin with. The editing room of the soul you're asleep is not a shutdown. It's a transition. It's from conscious effort to subconscious alignment. It's like closing the book of the day only to hand it to an invisible editor who adds new chapters, rewrites characters, deletes events, and changes plot lines. That editors the subconscious mind, and it's not working alone. Because while you rest, your subconscious collaborates with the quantum field, a living, breathing mirror responding to your inner vibration and recalibrating your outer world accordingly. So if your subconscious is filled with unprocessed trauma, teeming beliefs, sold stories, then that's the script it will feed the field, and the field will mirror that back into your waking life. You'll wake up, it's feeling like nothing's changed, but everything has. Why your morning mood isn't random. Have you ever noticed how you wake up in a certain mood without any external reason? Some mornings, you feel heavy. Other mornings, you feel free, open, inspired. This isn't random. It's the emotional residue of the rewriting that occurred while you slept. Your energy body was activating through memories, letting go of fragments, receiving quantum updates. But if your subconscious wasn't cleansed before sleep, if you fell asleep angry, afraid, stressed, doubting, then it entered the editing room with distortion, and the field responded accordingly. Voice steady, drawing the listener in. You are the architect of your reality, but the blueprints are drawn while you rest. Every night a part of you walks into the quantum shadows, carrying the vibration of who you've been. And from that vibration, reality begins rearranging, reconstructing itself. So, what kind of energy are you taking into the rewrite? The hidden power of sleep time consciousness. Let's go deeper. When you're asleep, your conscious filters drop. You're no longer judging reality through logic, belief, or ego. Instead, you're raw, open, energetically naked. And this is where your true self, the one beyond personality, identity, and memory, has a chance to influence the field directly. But here's the challenge. Most people have trained their subconscious to operate from fear. So even in sleep, fear writes the story. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but your subconscious could be feeding the field with guilt and powerlessness. And that becomes the tone of your next chapter. But the reverse is also true. If you fall asleep with intention, with gratitude, with stillness, with conscious release, then the rewrite becomes a quantum realignment. Your field updates, timelines shift, and the version of you that wakes up the next morning is not the same one that went to bed. Why you wake up in different realities? You may think you're in the same house, same room, the same bed, but the version of reality you wake into is not the one you fell asleep in. You shift timelines through your frequency, not your location. Each frequency holds a version of reality, a different configuration of events, people, opportunities, and outcomes, and every night your field adjusts. That's why sometimes after a deep sleep or vivid dream you feel like something's changed. You can't explain it, but things look or feel slightly off or beautifully aligned. That's not your imagination. That's quantum realignment. You shifted because reality rewrote itself while you rested. Sleep hygiene, before your soul forget what you've been told about sleep hygiene being just about blue light and screen time. True sleep hygiene is energetic. It's about the quality of consciousness you carry into sleep. The emotional state you hand off to the editor before bed. Ask yourself, what am I feeding to my subconscious tonight? What story will it write while I sleep? What emotion will the field mirror back to me in the morning? And if the answer isn't what you want, to have the power to change it. Breathe deeply. Forgive what needs to be forgiven. Release what no longer serves. Speak gratitude. Set intention. And then surrender. You're not going to sleep. You're entering the reality rewriting room. Your quantum rewrite ritual. 1. To start waking up in aligned timelines. Start this. 1. 10 minutes before sleep. Disconnect. Turn off all external stimulation. Drop into silence. 2. 5 minutes. Emotional clearing. Ask yourself, what am I still holding from today? Then say, I choose to release this now. 3 minutes. Gratitude. Encoding. Speak or think of 3 things you're deeply grateful for. Not just words, a feeling, timeline, declarations. Say out loud or internally. I now align with the timeline where I am whole, guided, and ready. Let my sleep be the bridge. You're not just going to bed. You're handing the quantum pen to a version of you that knows the bigger story. Let that version write for you. Morning, the moment of activation. When you wake up, take 60 seconds to feel your body, feel your breath, feel the tone of your energy. That tone, it tells you what the field is now mirroring. It tells you what was rewritten. It tells you what script you've wakened into. Don't rush. Don't check your phone. Don't leap into distractions. Anchor the new frequency and carry it forward. Because if you don't claim the script, the old stories will take over again. Your nights are not passive. They're portals, writing rooms, quantum recalibrations. Every time you sleep, the universe whispers, show me what to mirror. And your energy replies with the next scene. You're not just dreaming, you're directing. You're not just resting, you're rewriting reality. So tonight, before you drift away, remember, the field is listening, and it always writes it down. They say you're asleep, but what if I told you it's a version of you that's most awake, only awakens when your eyes are closed. You see, every night, your body goes offline. Your deeper intelligence comes online, not the one programmed by routines, stress, or society, but the one that remembers who you were before this world trained you to forget. And while your physical self lies still, your night self begins operating in dimensions your waking mind cannot comprehend. This part of you doesn't speak in words, it speaks in frequencies, symbols, emotions, and knowing. It doesn't need logic. It is logic on a quantum level, and the more unconscious your waking life becomes, the more active your night self becomes, trying to deliver clarity your conscious mind keeps rejecting. This is why your dreams feel cryptic, why you wake up with strange emotions, why you sometimes sense something happened, even if you can't remember what, because it did. Something always happens. The night self, the quantum navigator, your night self, isn't just a passenger, it's a navigator, a recalibrator, a translator between your human experience and your soul's trajectory. During the night, when the ego sleeps and the world no longer distracts you, your quantum navigator takes control. It begins reorganizing energetic imbalances, processing suppressed emotions, uploading timelines and potentials, downloading insights from your higher self. It sifts through your memories, experiences, traumas, not to punish you, but to purify the signal. Because when you're awake, your thoughts create distortion. But when you're asleep, you're open, and that's when your deepest corrections are made. Not through effort, but through surrender. Not through force, but through resonance. Nighttime is a quantum ritual. Think about it. Every night, you close your eyes. You lie in complete stillness. Your body enters paralysis. Your consciousness detaches. What does that sound? Like a ritual, a return, a reinitiation. Sleep isn't just rest. It's sacred, and your night self treats it as a daily portal to realign you. Every time you sleep, you're entering a quantum chamber where you're recalibrated. You're taught, you're reminded, you're warned, you're prepared. Your soul uses this window to nudge you, warn you, strengthen you for what's coming next. It knows timelines before they unfold. It knows energies before they solidify. That's why your night self isn't dreaming, it's scanning. It's not escaping. It's ARCHITECT. And if you're sensitive enough, you'll begin to notice that your daytime thoughts aren't random. They're echoes of what your night self was already working on. Why you wake up tired. I wonder why some nights you sleep for 8 hours and still wake up exhausted. It's because you didn't rest. Your body rested, but your night self was busy reconstructing collapsed beliefs, repairing energy leaks, dismantling timelines you were never meant to be on. These aren't passive processes. They're intense. They're sacred. They're transformational. And sometimes they leave you feeling like you've traveled worlds, because you have. Your night self is more conscious than you, while your waking self questions and doubts. Your night self knows it doesn't argue with reality. It remakes it. It doesn't worry about how things will happen. It aligns with the frequency where it already has. That's why it feels so foreign to your waking mind, 'cause it's not from this density. It's a whisper from a dimension you barely remember. A vibration that says, you're not lost. You're just remembering. The language of the night. Your night self speaks through metaphor. A lion in a dream isn't just a lion. It's a symbol of courage. You're being called to embody. A recurring nightmare isn't punishment. It's a pattern trying to get your attention. And the stranger who appears out of nowhere in your dream, that may not be a stranger at all. It may be your future self, past self, or guide, cloaked in a form your subconscious can accept. The language of the night is non-linear. It's non-linear because time doesn't matter there. All that matters is resonance. And when something resonates, it becomes real, even if your waking mind has no explanation for it. Let the night teach you stop brushing off your dreams. Stop thinking of sleep as nothingness. Start seeing it for what it is, your most powerful state of alignment. Because when your day is full of noise, your night becomes your only truth. Let the night teach you how to surrender, how to listen, how to feel, how to recalibrate, how to remember, because the version of you that's awake all day, that's the surface. But the version of you that awakens at night, that's the source. You are not just the sleeper, you are the seerwood. If your dreams weren't just dreams, what if they were briefings? What if they were instructions? What if your night self is trying to deliver you the key to unlock a version of you that's already free? Not someday, but now, because here's the truth most people ignore. You're not dreaming at night. You're remembering what you forgot during the day. And if you really pay attention, you'll notice the world isn't just different when you wake up, you are. The portal is always open, but few remember you. Don't need to wait for the night to fall. The portal is always open. But here's the mystery. Very few ever remember it. Because remembering doesn't mean memory. It means resonance. It means matching the frequency of the realm that opens in the silence between moments. You've passed through this portal countless times, in dreams, in deep meditations, in moments where time paused, in something more profound than words wrapped around your awareness. But each time you return to this waking world, you forget. Not because you're not capable, but because your conscious mind was never trained to translate what your quantum self experienced. You're not blocked. You're not broken. You're just trying to understand multi-dimensional downloads with a single-dimensional mind. So how do you remember what you're meant to? Not through force, not through logic, but through alignment, because the portal doesn't close. You just step out of sync with it. The portal doesn't close. Your frequency does think of the portal as a broadcast tower. It sends signals constantly, messages, energy, instructions, encoded in light and vibration. But if your inner frequency is tuned to noise, distraction, fear, routine, you don't receive the signal, not because it's not being sent, but because you're out of range. This is why the deepest spiritual practices don't require anything external. They require silence, that stillness, surrender. Because in that quiet surrender, you match the portal's frequency and it begins to open inside you. Not up there, not out there, but within. You've already stepped through, but you dismissed it here. So what happens when you brush against the threshold of the portal? You suddenly wake up at 3:33 a.m. For no reason. You feel a pull in your chest, a longing, but you don't know what for. You sense that time slowed down for a moment, and something bigger was near. You have a dream so real, it leaves you emotional all day. But what do most people do? They dismiss it. They roll over. They scroll. They bury it. They say, that was just a dream. But it wasn't just a dream. It was your future timeline reaching out. It was your soul reminding you. You're still in the middle of becoming. Why only a few remember? Here's the secret. The portal doesn't open to show you something. It opens to awaken something already inside you. And that's why most people don't remember. Because they're looking for visions instead of listening for resonance. They expect flashing lights instead of gentle shifts in consciousness. They chase experiences instead of receiving frequencies. To remember, you must deepen, not seek. You must soften, not strain. The few who remember, they're the ones who learn to listen without ears, see without eyes, and know without proof. The memory is in the energy, not the mind hears. Something quantum physics is beginning to confirm. Memory doesn't just exist in the brain, it exists in the field, the energy body that surrounds and permeates you. This is why trauma, intuition, ancestral patterns, and even spiritual experiences can all be felt without ever being consciously remembered. Because the body remembers, the energy remembers, your quantum field remembers. So when you say, I don't remember my dreams, or I don't recall the message I received, understand this, it's not gone, it's stored in you as you, waiting for you to reach the right frequency where it becomes visible. And that frequency is always love, awareness, and surrender. Night is the most active time for your quantum self. Think about it. When your body sleeps, your consciousness unhooks from the physical timeline. You're no longer bound to the rules of space and time. You're free, and in that freedom, you travel, you receive, you transform, not as some fantasy, but as a quantum operation. It's happening every single night. You're constantly being recalibrated in those hours, realigned, R-E-T-U-N-E, and each time, portal opens wider if you're ready. But the problem is, when you wake up, your ego returns, your fears return, your mental chatter returns, and all the transformation that occurred slips back into the subconscious, unless you learn how to catch it. Catching the quantum, K. How to remember the portal. Here's how you begin. 1. Wake gently. Dad, jump out of bed. Don't grab your phone, lie still. Let the night speak through you. Ask, what do I feel? What do I remember? What is still echoing? 2. Keep a portal journal. Then write only dreams. Write feelings, colors, symbols, gut pulls, weird thoughts. These are fragments from the portal realm. 3. Anchor, one word before bed. Whisper, one intention word. Clarity, connection, healing. Let it echo in your mind as you fall asleep. It becomes a signal beacon and aligns your night self. 4. Feel before you sleep. Emotional state before sleep determines which frequency portal you enter. Gratitude, case. Surrender these open higher gates. 5. Speak to your night self. Yes. Actually, speak. Say, show me what I need to see. Let me remember what I'm ready to know. The field listens when you speak from presence. The portal is always open, even now. Here's the most profound truth. You don't need to wait for 3 a.m. You don't need to chase a lucid dream. You don't even need to sleep, because the portal isn't a time, it's a state. You could walk through it right now. You became still enough, empty enough, present enough. You've tasted it in moments of awe. You've felt it in moments of heartbreak. You glimpsed it when your mind finally went silent. That's the portal. It lives where the veil thins, where awareness sharpens, where your soul is louder than your thoughts. Why you came across this message. This isn't a coincidence. This very moment, you reading this, is part of the portal opening again. Your night self brought you here because it remembers, and it wants your conscious self to remember too. It wants the two of you to become one aligned being, living across timelines, receiving across dimensions, and anchoring the truth of your infinite identity into this waking world. So pause, breathe, listen. There's something waiting just beyond this word. A silence, a presence, a whisper that says, you were never asleep. You were just dreaming. You were awake, because the portal never left. It was always here, and now you're remembering.